Hi there, Taz. Thank you so much for being with me today. I'm so excited to talk to you, number one member of the FAB Business Club. So I'm asking everybody the same questions. My first question is for you, how long have you been in business?
Oh, crikey. Since everything was in sepia, I went self-employed in 2010. So whatever that is now.
Nearly 14 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Blimey. I feel old now.
You are.
Thanks. Thank you so
You're not
much.
as old as me. You're not as old as me.
Wise, wise.
So what inspired you to start your business? What was it? What happened? How did, because everybody's got a story, haven't they, about why they've ended up working for themselves. What's yours?
Well, I've got a long and winding story, but I'll try and nutshell it. I was in journalism, marketing, and publishing for many, many years. That old thing about climbing the ladder, only to realize it's up against the wrong wall. At the same time, I'd been through an awful lot of life challenges and difficulties. I've been through things like domestic abuse. I'd been through suicidal thoughts and feelings for years, largely from not dealing with the abuse and things that had built up on top of that. Ended up trying to check out and break my back in 3 places. So that was the point where most people assume, oh, that would have been the turning point. And I thought it was at the time. But then I did what so many people do. Instead of making changes, I went back into my comfort zone, which was setting goals and smashing it at work. So I kept going and going and going, knew there was more to life. And then in 2006, in the space of only a few weeks, I think it was about 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that, my uncle died, my dad died. A load of family debt came to light that we didn't know about, which meant my financial future, as I believed it to be, was literally gone. Like that, gone. Asher, now my wife, was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis and then made redundant. I'm an only child. I've got a half brother, but don't really see much of each other. So I was trying to manage everything, look after mum, look after all of that fallout when a family member dies, organise everything. And I don't think I was getting time to grieve through it all either. I think that was the real catalyst, because on top of everything else, so much that I hadn't dealt with came spilling out. And I just knew, I just had this deep, deep knowing realization that I wasn't following my potential. I wasn't on my, I call it a soul's mission, because it feels like a real calling to get out there, inspire, support, motivate others. That's why my hashtag is Unleash Your Awesome, because I just believe that everyone has this huge pot of untapped potential, this awesomeness, and we don't know how to tap into it. So long story short, after that, I was at the time UK director for what was one of the world's biggest multinational publishing companies. So I'd kind of got the golden handcuffs. But I went in one day with a reorganization chart and without me on it, and chipped my way out. And I started from there. I'd done lots of training over the years in personal development, spiritual development, coaching, NLP, a bit of hypnosis, spent 10 years learning from shamans and medicine people, training firewalking and extreme empowerment. So by the time I got out, I had this raft of skills, plus my PR and journalism background and marketing. I had everything I needed to do what I was meant to be doing all along, and start working to support, inspire, motivate other people, helping them to smash it.
What would you call yourself then, with all of those skills together? You set about your business and you were like, right, I'm going to be
I'm going to be Taz. I'm going to be Taz.
What?
Do you know what? I spent years trying to avoid calling myself a coach, because everyone I'd met or heard of who described themselves as a coach was a bit of a twat, really. Just how can I phrase this politely? Nobody understood what they were doing. Everybody was calling themselves a life coach. It's like, well, what does that mean? I know how to be alive. What, you teach me how to brush my teeth or wash my socks? Well, I know that stuff. None of it fit. And I didn't want to be one of the coaches I was seeing at business networking as well, who turned up and almost rubbing their hands in desperation, but still not explaining what they were going to do for people. So I did everything I could to avoid it. I was calling myself a trainer, a mentor, a speaker, all of the stuff that I did, but don't call me a coach. And then one day, I just thought, this is daft. Instead of avoiding the thing that you obviously do, because there are lots of people out there in my perception, doing it badly or not explaining it well, lead from the front. Get out there and set the bar high. So that's what I did. So now we've had to sum it up. There'll be coach, trainer, speaker and speaker trainer, author, and that's it. And when it comes to coaching, I would probably describe it as business and personal empowerment. There you go. How's that?
That's good. Yeah, that's what I would have said for you.
Thank you.
Good. So, with all that said, then all of this amazing toolbox that you have, what would you say is your favorite thing about the work that you do?
It's not so much a thing that I do, it's the response I see from other people. That glint people get in their eyes when they realise that they're capable of far more. That look you got when you realised you should actually just launch the FAB Business Club, or networking as it was back then. Yeah, you can show me those all you like, but that look, well, why aren't I doing that? I've got all the skills for that.
Yeah.
And whenever I'm working with anyone and I have that light bulb moment where they realise that they're just capable of far more, the world's their lobster, and they can get out and they make a real difference, as you have been doing. That's my favourite thing. That's
your favourite thing?
Yeah.
So what's your least favourite thing then?
Have I got a least favourite thing about what I do? Do you know what? I think I've got rid of most of my least favourite things.
Right, okay. What about least favourite thing about being self-employed?
Oh, accounting, without a doubt. That's why I have a bookkeeper and an accountant, and I'm much better now than I used to be. But I was perpetually the leave it all till the last minute and pretend it didn't exist until it's January.
Did you have a carrier bag full of receipts?
Receipts? What are these receipts?
Oh, see, I was better than that. I used to have a carrier bag full of receipts, and then in January I'd be sorting through them all.
I'll tell you what, I started out putting them somewhere safe. You know, it's like when you put something somewhere safe. Then I used to stick them in the back of my handbag, and then one day Asha said, give them to me, I'll look after them for you and put them somewhere safe. So I started giving them all to Asha, and then she got menopause, and I went, where's those receipts? And she went, what? So I'm lucky that I'm not lucky. I have designed my business so that most of my receipts now are electronic, so I can just forward them to an email and it's done.
And then all your other work is just, you've ditched all the stuff you don't like doing, you've outsourced. And
most of that I have outsourced now. There's not much about my work I don't enjoy.
Good. Well, the thing is, it's like, why work for yourself if you're doing shit you don't like doing?
Exactly.
You can go and get a job and do shit you don't like doing, can't you?
Exactly. At one point I would have said early mornings. So I don't do early mornings. I don't do any forward-facing client work till 11:30 a.m. and that sometimes feels like an early morning. So no, if it's your business, run it the way you want to run it. I don't do cold calls. I don't do any of that. I've designed it so that I don't need to. So if you're listening to this and it's your business, carve it out the way you want it to be.
Absolutely. So what if you were to give like younger Taz then some advice, what do you know now that you wish you'd known then when you were first starting out?
There's so much BS out there. So many of the courses and the programs. When you're first setting up and you go to all the kind of government funded workshops on how to do this and they're all start with a business plan. No. Fail to plan to fail. What a load of rubbish. I have learned since that when it comes to planning, the planning element is brilliant because when you're planning, you're getting inspired, you're coming up with ideas, you're getting excited, but then try and stick to a rigid plan and your soul just crawls up and dies. So fail to plan to fail is a load of rubbish. You only need a business plan if you want to go and get funding for something or apply for a loan, same thing. So don't worry about that. Just have an idea of where you want to go and keep moving towards that aim. Like you've shot it out on a great big arrow and you just got to keep moving to where that arrow landed. What else? As I used to be in PR and marketing, I would tell people, and I absolutely believed it, that over the Christmas and New Year break, where everybody else was resting, you should be on it all the time, on it. Because otherwise, your competitors will be front of mind. And when you come back in the new year, you'll have no clients. I've so completely flipped that. If you serve well and connect with people through the year, switch off. When everybody else is trying to switch off. You don't need your stuff, however brilliant it is, to be hitting everybody's inboxes along with all the new year, new you guff. So if we are going to be big on wellness, and a lot of the people I coach are big on wellness, lead from the front. If you're telling other people to take a break, take a break. I'm not scheduling a load of stuff. I'm not going to be showing up every 5 minutes. If I feel like it, I might. But your business is not going to disappear if you properly switch off over the Christmas and New Year break, or when you take a holiday anywhere at any point in the year.
I think that's a really hard thing to get your head around, isn't it? I know for up until the last 2 or 3 years, I really struggled to take a proper break because you're just like, oh, you know, you feel
and
like...
especially when you love your work, because it doesn't feel like work, but you can still burn out. In fact, you're at greater risk if you love it, because you don't notice your reserves running dry. At least that's happened to me a few times.
Yeah, absolutely. So take heed, anybody who's watching this, take heed. So obviously, in terms of the FAB network as it was, business club as it is now, you were the number one member. You still are number one member. You were the first person to put your money where your mouth is after you booted me up the backside.
Well, I knew it'd be awesome. You were born to do this, so why wouldn't I leap in there?
So, well, what I've been asking everybody is that what inspired you to join? So what was it about it for you then that you were so sort of like, yeah, I'm doing this, it sounds great, I'm having it. What was it about it for you?
We'd been working together for a while. I'd grown to really love your vibe and your energy and the way that you really do care for other people. Your heart for business is phenomenal. And you know I don't do blowing smoke up your backside.
I know you don't.
So it just felt like such an obvious fit. You were so... everything about you was created, born, and come together to bring other people together and to create an inclusive, encouraging environment. But also, you had strong enough boundaries to not allow people to take the piss and let it degenerate, as so many other women-only spaces do. I see so many women-only spaces where it becomes about cliques and bitching. And it feels like we have this real dichotomy between all these messages about women lifting other women up and women inspiring women. And yet there are so many spaces where there's nothing worse than women with other women. And I knew you wouldn't let that happen. And I knew that your passion and your vibe was behind it so much that this would grow. I knew that it would hold on to its authenticity. And I knew that I'd be able to watch people flourish as part of your group and maybe be able to help them in the process. And I wanted to be part of that. And I'm so glad that I am. And it's all that and more.
It's ace. It's so... what I really, really love about it, and this is, you know, thanks to all the members, all the people who stayed along, and, you know, a few people have been and gone, but they've perhaps not been quite the right fit, or it's not been the right thing for them. And what's so lovely for me is just that everybody who's part of it says the same stuff. We're all in it together, and there's everybody. It's just so heartwarming. I absolutely love it. It's so much better than I ever thought.
If you looked up alignment in the dictionary, it'd say FAB Business Club.
So I was going to say, what's your favourite thing about it? That was my next question, but you've kind of answered that, really, haven't you?
The people, and you know, even those who've been and gone. I think the thing I remember though is it's not necessarily that it wasn't right for people. Sometimes it's just not right now, or sometimes we know what the climate's been like financially over the past few years. So for some people, they've had to really make some big cuts they didn't want to make. So I just try to remember, you know, that analogy about the railway tracks, and sometimes they run side by side and sometimes they veer off and they might come together again down the line. I know that some of the people who've stepped out will probably come back in, and those where it's not right, they'll find something that is right for them.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, you know, what I keep saying to everybody, it's kind of like, come and have a go, come to a meeting, it's free, it's not going to cost you anything, you'll know.
Yeah,
if it's the right space for you, it'll be like, yeah, it's right for me, or it's not for you. It's kind of that whole we're not into trying to persuade you to, you know, it's kind of, it's either right for you or it isn't. It's just, this is how it is, this is it.
It's gutsy, it can be raucous, it can be sweary. I love those elements.
I know you do. You always start them off.
Absolutely, it's always my fault. # blame Taz again. But by the same token, because it's so beautifully grounded that if someone is in trouble or needs support, everybody's there. There's no, oh, dare I say this here, and who can I trust, or will it go outside? There's none of that. It's absolutely real. It's like the best kind of family gathering, but without the people you don't like,
without the horrible uncle
or the horrible aunt or the horrible mother-in-law or any of it. It's just, if you can imagine the ideal family where everybody genuinely loves each other and wants to support, that's it.
Oh, there's a couple of people described it as family in that way as well, and it's just I just
what family
can't
should be,
can't wait.
What family is.
Yeah, I can't wait for it to just grow and get more people, because
it's already happening.
Yeah, it is already happening, and I think because it's quite solid now, and the ethos and the golden thread's sort of there, isn't it? So I think it's the right time now. So brilliant.
It's amazing. So thank you for everything that you've done to build it. You've created something really magical.
Oh, well, thank you for the pink glittery boot up my backside, making me do it. Well, not making me. You didn't make me do it. You encouraged me.
I reckon it was always there. That seed was always there. I just needed to nurture it a little bit. It would have happened, just maybe not quite as quickly.
Yeah, maybe. So yeah, thank you. So if people have been watching this then and they think, oh, she sounds a bit like a woman I want to spend more time with, want to get to know, how do people find you, Taz? Where do you hang out?
I am ubiquitous. You'll find me everywhere, just not on Snapchat. I'm on there, but I don't use it. I'm everywhere. Just search Taz Thornton. You'll find me. You'll find TazThornton.com as well. LinkedIn, Facebook, Insta, TikTok. But obviously, the big glaring obvious thing here, get yourself booked into a FAB meeting. I come to as many as I can. I'm not always at the online ones because, life. But whenever I can be there, I will be there. So if you want to meet up with me or any of the other awesome women, book yourself into FAB. Simple.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for spending time with me today.
Thank you.
I'll see you at a meeting very soon.
You will.